This must be a mistake. I got a standard relocation coupon just like everybody else.
What's up, guys? This is Zero with another episode of Back in the Day, and today we're playing Half-Life 2. This game is my favorite game of all time. It has received tons of Game of the Year awards, and it's revolutionized the way we play first-person shooters.
Will they ever deactivate the suppression?
There's plenty of reasons why Half-Life 2 is a great game. We're going to go over all of them. I'm going to run down a quick list of the things that I think make this game great, and then we'll dive into deeper detail about each one. First off, there's physics, and then they have facial animation. All of the animations in the game are amazing. The UI for switching weapons is really awesome. The AI, the enemies that we fight, are really amazing to make for really good bad guys. The characters that they develop in this game are really awesome. You actually care about them. The levels, there's so many different types of levels in this game. It's incredible. It just doesn't end. There's some awesome Easter eggs in there. You get the G-Man that follows you around and acts really creepy. But these are just some of the few things that I want to talk to you guys about today. So let's start off with the physics in this game. The physics, they start you off right away. They throw physics at you, and they were like, "Hey, you can actually like pick this stuff up. It's just not static objects anymore. Like, go pick this can up and put it in the trash can, or else I'm not gonna let you buy me." And that was a really subtle way for the developers to introduce physics to you. That this guy just knocks his can over and tells you to pick it up. That's a tutorial right there, but it doesn't feel like a tutorial. You're like, oh god, this guy's gonna kill me if I don't do it. And as he walks away, he chuckles, which is an amazing touch. And in just this one scene that we're walking through right now, where we're walking through this train station, is incredible. I love the art direction in this game. It's amazing. It really gets the sense that it's it's a city, but it's not a thriving city anymore, you know? You got this guy talking about all the stuff that's going on. It's basically propaganda, which is awesome. You really get that feeling that from the book 1984 or whatever, 1982, one of those things. I forget the actual title, but Orwell writes it. It's an amazing book. But you really get that feeling like you're in this police state, this overrun city, and you can see where these alien structures are just kind of like slapped onto the side of normal, I would say European buildings, but we don't really exactly know where it takes place, but we do know it takes place in something called City 17, which is one of the last remaining cities for mankind to settle, and then just outside the city limits is where we start meeting more of the resistance that are trying to, take care of the Combine. But let's talk about some of the facial animations that we meet. The first time we meet Alex Vance, and you wake up from being knocked out, and she's like, "Dr. Gordon Freeman, I presume." And just the facial animations for that one line is incredible, and it's like literally the first time I had ever seen anything like that. The facial animations that I've seen before were always just like the mouth was moving, and you kind of knew they were talking, but it wasn't, voice synced with anything. And not only that, not only was it synced, but they had the facial expressions to go along with it. So by the end of the story here, you really care about these characters because they're expressing human emotions for the first time. It's not this random NPC that just says, "Hey, go kill those things over there. They're hurting me." It's stupid. But now, Half-Life 2 brings this whole new thing to the table. Not only that, they bring tons of bad guys. So it's not just one bad guy that you're fighting. You're not just fighting some random one-sided army here. You're fighting a full army with everything that comes along with it. So not only you're fighting the grunts or civil protection, you're fighting their elite soldiers, you're fighting their airships, their drop ships, their they have vehicles in the game too that drive around. You're fighting the Striders, which is an amazing character. And not only are these military vehicles, but they're organic military vehicles. So it's like a mix between like mechanized bad guys mixed with like biological bad guys. And it makes for an amazing game. It's just they add all these different
Dr.
variants,
Freeman,
and that's
I
just the Combine. There's the Zen from the first game, the guys that come from the other planet, the other dimension.
You don't want to get in their way.
Although they do, the Vortigaunts, the ones that you fight in the first game,
Dr.
are
Kleiner said you'd
actually
be
part of
coming this way.
the Resistance now.
I don't
But
think it
you
occurred
still
to
have
him
the
that you might not have
zombies,
a map.
the head crabs, the barnacles, which are the things that suck you up to the ceiling or whatever. And then you
I'm
have
Alex
the
Vance.
antlions, which
My
is
father worked
an
with me back in
amazing.
Black Mesa.
I don't even know where they came
sure
from
you
or
don't
how
remember
they
me,
thought
though.
of that idea. I'm sure there's a way they introduced it into the story
You have a few
somehow.
words, aren't you?
But the antlions are great. They're like, they just swarm from everywhere, and they're amazing bad guy.
Remember him from Black Mesa?
And there's multiple
Your old
variants of those
administrator.
guys too. So there's like the regular
Don't get
ant
my
crabs,
dad
and then
started
there's
on
the
Dr.
big,
Brain.
like, not ant crab, the ant lions. There's the big
Over
ant
here.
lion, like the mother one that like rams you and destroys you, and it's really hard to kill. But those and just the levels that they introduce you to. So you start off in City 17, and then they throw you into the canals, and then I think they throw
Funny,
you once you
showing
get
up on this day
out
in particular.
out there, you get thrown into either Ravenholm or whatever it is, where it's like this dark, really like zombie apocalypse like level, and you're following
We've been
around a
having people
priest who's
escape
killing
the
all
city
these
before.
guys, and it's really
dangerous
fun.
for
It's
a
actually
young father's
really
life.
actually
It's really
terrifying because the bad guys,
Today, we're finally
they're
on the
super
verge of
quick.
having
This
a
is
better
like
way.
again another variant of the Zen or the zombies.
Here,
Um,
let me buy you a drink.
so it makes for some different gameplay for each level. So when you go out into the coast where you get a car and you're driving around is really vast and open, it's completely different gameplay than when you were running around in the canals or when you were in Ravenholm. Like, the different levels that they throw you into switches up the gameplay all the time. So each time you play it, it's different. So then they also throw you into the prison, which makes for some really interesting gameplay as well. And it's creepy as hell because it's this Nova prospect, and Barney tells you like it's something, or maybe Alex, I don't know, one of the two say like we don't go there anymore, or it was Nova Prospect, and they were like it's something much worse now. Like it used to be a prison, but now it's much worse. And they tell you that, and then you're like, well, now I have to go there. What am I going to run into? They kind of set it up so it's, you know, it's bad, right? So there's also the G-Man, where you see throughout the game, and he just kind of creeps around, and you see him, which makes for some really nice Easter eggs. And it's great where you never can quite catch him. You see him, and then you go around the corner, and then he's gone. So that always added a nice touch to the Half-Life series. I probably want to play a couple of these levels in this series, but maybe we could get to episode 1 and episode 2, where they change some things, but that's more of a more modern thing. But this game came out in 2004, and it changed everything for me. So, yeah, the weapons. Oh my god, the weapons. How many weapons do you get in this game? A ton of weapons. So in the way they do it, it makes it super intuitive to just switch between weapons. You have the 1 key, which would be your pistols, or the 2 key, which is all your submachine guns, and then you have all your assault rifles, your rocket launches, your grenades, all separated into these categories, and you can switch between them very easily. And you actually have to worry about what kind of weapons you have ammo for, and every time you use them according to the situation that you're in. So if you're like at a long-range fight with something, you can whip out your crossbow sniper rifle, or if you're in close quarters, you can use your submachine guns, and it just makes for some quick action gameplay and making decisions based on what kind of weapons you have available to you, whether you actually have ammo for this or not, or I need to defend this area, so maybe I should move these turrets or something. Like, they changed the gameplay up so much with just the weapons, and then they add the levels on top of it that are all completely different. These are many, many reasons why this game is amazing, and that's why it won so many awards. And this is one of the reasons why it's my favorite game. I'm not sure how much more I can talk about this without getting super excited or just droning on, so I guess I could just let you watch some of the gameplay as I slowly walk my way through the city. And yeah, I mean, we're gonna get into some gameplay where I'm running around shooting and stuff, so I'll do some live commentary for that. But yeah, other than that, Half-Life 2, I'm really excited to play the series again because I haven't played it for God knows, like I said, another 10 years ago. I'm trying to play all these games that are like memorable when I was either going through high school or something. Like, it was really amazing, and this is one of the reasons why I got into the video game industry. This is why I wanted to be an animator. This is the game that changed everything. Like, this is why I can't wait for the 3rd episode to come out, or Half-Life 3, and yes, Valve, please give that to me now. Tired of waiting. So I suspect that the new Half-Life is going to be amazing, because they're taking so much time with it. It better be. And I think the problem, I guess why they're not, either why they're taking their time with it, is because Half-Life 2 was such a game changer that they probably feel obligated that they need to do it all over again with the 3rd episode. Like, if this is going to be the thing that ends the Half-Life 2 series, it's going to be amazing, you know, or just the beginning. So it gets me super excited to even think about Half-Life 3. But yeah, Half-Life 2, it's such a great game. Like, driving around in a vehicle or just driving around in an airboat, there's just so many different things that they allow you to do. It's not just this run and gun game where you're just running and shooting everything all the time. You gotta figure out puzzles, you gotta figure out how you're gonna do this, how are you, like, you got the choice to approach a situation the way you wanted to. If you ran into some Combine, you're like, well, I could either attack him this way, or maybe I could sneak up on them and use a crowbar or something. Like, they allowed you to do all that, and in 2004 that was unheard of. It's just, it completely changed everything. So yeah, I'm gonna start repeating myself at this point, but I can't say how much I like this game enough. It's just, it's so good. And so I hope if you haven't played this game, please do. Even though it is dated, it still looks pretty damn good. I played it right here, and I bumped all the graphics to full, and it still holds up. It's actually pretty good. So I mean, despite the loading issues, obviously, but other than that, yeah, it's a great game. I highly recommend it. We will continue to play this, and I'm going to sign off here, but I'll let you finish off the gameplay. But don't forget to subscribe and enjoy the rest of the video.
Not a moment too soon.
Excellent. Initializing in 3, 2, 1. Barney, if you'd be so kind.
Good luck out there, Gordon.
Yes, indeed. We're ready to project you, Gordon. Bon voyage, and best of luck in your future endeavors. Final sequence. The hell? What is it? It's your head, the freaking head hopper! Rar, ready, go! Is Lamar with him? What about that thing?
I'm not sure. It seems to be some kind of interference.
Gordon, stay put. We'll get you out of there.
Something is drawing him away.
What's the meaning of this? Who are you? How did you get in here?
Get him out of there. Phantom Wade is the field. It will peel you apart.
Just lost Gordon. What's going on?
I wish I knew. I'm encountering unexpected interference.
Don't worry, Gordon.
There he is. Oh, we're losing it again.
All but certain it was Gordon Freeman. He didn't come through.
Then where is he?
Behind you. Shut it down. Shut it down.
Gordon, you must get out of
I'll come find you.
Hey, Gordon! The Citadel's on full alert. I've never seen it lit up like that. Get out of City 17 as fast as you can, Gordon. Take the old canals, right? They'll get you to Eli's lab. It's a dangerous route, but there's a whole network of refugees, and they'll help you if they can. I'd come with you, but I gotta look after Dr. Kleiner. Oh, and before I forget, I think you dropped
And that's
this
going to
back
do
in
it for
Black
this
Mesa.
episode of Back in the Day.
Good
We'll
luck out
continue
there,
to play
buddy.
some more Half-Life
Gonna
2
need
for a couple of missions, and then maybe hop over to episode 1 and episode 2. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next episode.